Oh my God, they shooting.
This is the Tater Barksdale podcast, and this is a podcast about all the goodwill going on in Baltimore City. Today we got Changing Terms, Community Health Care Services, and today I got Khadijah with me. I got my man Anthony. I said Anthony, and then we got Eric, and I said Eric, but they all correct me. This is just a conversation about what's going on in the community. They're going to talk a little bit about their program. So, give a little people a little, spill of who you are. We'll start with Khadijah. She could just tell us who she is, where she grew up. She grew up in Baltimore, a little bit about yourself, and then we can move on to Anthony and move on to her.
Okay, well, I'm Khadijah. I'm from Northwest Baltimore.
Park Heights. Oh, well, how you be from Northwest Baltimore and not be from Park Heights? No, I'm just joking.
I went to Northwestern. Hey,
Okay, hey, Northwestern.
But I'm one of the program directors here at Changing Turn.
Mm-hmm.
So we go out in the community a lot to service the at-risk youth, adolescents, adults needing services, pertaining to their mental health, outreach. We do go into a lot of the shelters, feeding a lot of people in the community and educating them about the programs and how it can assist with their mental health and other needs.
Okay. So how long you been doing this work?
Well, I came to Change the Turn in 2013.
Okay.
So I've been rocking with them since then.
All right. So you've been through it. So do you have you grew up around people who had mental health problems and stuff like that?
Yep. I grew up a lot around people diagnosed with mental health illness, homelessness, that sort of thing. So really, it touched me.
So this really your passion.
Mm-hmm.
This is something it's like with me with Safe Streets. When I think about working with Safe Streets, I was just telling Mariah, I said I don't feel like I work. I don't have a job because I'm always helping. Mm-hmm. It's I'm not on an assembly line or something like that. So,
right.
I really, really love my job. So Anthony, tell us a little bit about yourself, my brother.
Well, I grew up in West Baltimore, Pennsylvania Avenue, born and raised.
It sounds like Bruce Court, though.
Yeah, okay.
You said Lawrence Division, but it sounds like Bruce Court when you was naming all those guys.
No, I ain't from down still side. I used to just hang down there sometimes.
I got you.
So, I'm currently the PRP director here as well as the Human Resources director here.
Okay.
I've been doing this for about 7 years. And I'm passionate about this. Growing up in the inner city and the community I grew up in, through this company, I saw the need that needed to be fulfilled.
Right.
And when I try to explain people, they think mental health is a stigma. It's not. Everybody needs help with their problems, what they're going through.
Yeah.
And like I tell the young men, don't look at it as a bad thing. Everybody needs help. I said, look at the people who are in the military. When they come home, what do they come home with? PTSD, anxiety, depression. Everybody I know knows somebody who's been shot, killed, could have been a family member, could have been a friend. So what you think they're going to have? PTSD, anxiety, depression.
Exactly.
So when you tell it to them like that, they realize oh, I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
They feel they get to feel the universality that I'm not the only person dealing with this. And when they see that they're not the only person dealing with it, they can better cope with it. And here at Change in Turn, we provide them with counselors who've had experiences in their life. Who can, because most of the people
you look like the population that you serve.
Right, and not only that.
And he look at you and say, damn, I see myself in him, and then you look at him and see the same thing. I see
exactly.
him inside of me.
And people with just book smart can't reach this demographic.
No. That's why you need programs that reduce violence and mediate our program.
Exactly.
And ceasefire for people who can probably think about a mental, a physical, a spiritual presence to how we fight this stuff. Because it ain't really no one way. You dig what I'm saying? And it has to be the people who been through that.
Exactly.
Because when I go talk to a little boy, I'm going to tell you, like, I had when I first became Safe Streets and I was working, I asked the little dude, he had just finished school. So I said, yo, you finished school? He was like, yeah. I said, you should go to college. Guess what he said to me?
What?
Did you go to college? And I was like, no, I ain't go to college, right? So then I thought about it, right? I said, look, well, shorty, look, this is what we gonna do. We both going down to Sojourner Douglas right now. I know the lady. We gonna go enroll in college. So I wound up enrolling in college. I ended up with a master's degree. He didn't do nothing. So I said to him, every time I seen him, I said, boy, you ain't go back to school yet. And he's like, you should thank me that you went back. But guess what was the biggest thing about it? 4 or 5 years later, he went and got them CDLs, and he might make more money than me.
Yeah, but
You dig what I'm saying? And it was that fact that I looked like him, he looked like me, and we exchanged them conversations. You dig what I'm saying? And I was able to inspire him just like he inspired me, bro, and I was his mentor.
So,
you know,
some of the young kids who came in here at one of the other offices, I hung all my degrees up on the wall.
Mhm.
And I was wondering why everybody in the neighborhood was congratulating me, came to my graduation party. I'm like, why y'all so happy? Didn't all y'all graduate from college? They like, nobody around here even attempted to go to college.
Right.
I'm like, but I looked up to y'all. And they like, but we look up to you. So these young men think that they can't do it.
Right.
So I would take them into my office. I would show them I have a degree in biology with a minor in chemistry.
Right.
I would show them that I have a master's in human service administration, healthcare
Right.
delivery system. So when they see that, they be like, oh, if he could do it, I can do it.
Right.
And I said we have to change the ideology and the mindset of these young men in these communities, because when I go to the Avenue Market, if I'm dressed like this,
Yeah.
they be like, where you going at? You going to court or job interview?
Right.
I said, that's terrible. Realistically, this is the way I'm supposed to dress every day when I go to work.
That's
So
it.
once we change their mindset, we can actually change their outcomes in their situations.
Absolutely. So, Eric,
Yeah.
it's your turn, buddy. Tell us a little bit about yourself, about what you be doing in the program. You know what I mean? Just, talk a little bit about the mission of Changing Turn, and what you offer and what you bring to the, intervention.
I'm from Northeast Baltimore, Zone 18.
Okay.
I'm
Where?
Waverly community.
Okay, gotcha.
And the gardens.
Yeah.
I spent half my life down there. I spent the other half on Marble Hall Road,
Okay.
not too far from here.
Right.
I'm Northeast, homegrown. And what I do with the program is I'm outreach. I'm more outreach. I'm more hands-on. Feet to the ground.
Right.
I meet them where they at.
Right.
And then I come get them and I bring them to Mr. Anthony or Miss Khadijah.
Oh, this is so
You
extraordinary, brother. Did you know that you just named the Safe Streets Woodburn area, bro? What the hell you work here? I ain't gonna steal you. Maybe you can work here and with us.
Oh, anytime.
So I'm saying, like, we on the podcast, but how can this kind of be like your pre-screen interview? Because you just named the target area, so you know these guys.
Yeah.
You got rapport with these guys.
Coach football.
You can meet each.
basketball,
Oh, see, that's what I'm
everything.
talking. We're gonna talk at the podcast. Tell us a little bit more about Changing Turns, buddy.
But like I mentioned to you earlier, I'm more outreach. So I'm out in the community, hands-on, at schools, elementary schools, middle schools, high schools.
Right.
I'm shaking hands with the principal, the social worker, the assistant
You on
principal.
the ground.
Yeah, I'm on the ground.
Yeah.
I'm like the foot soldier.
Feet on the ground. I heard that.
Yeah, he pretty much runs the mental
Yeah.
program.
Yeah.
So, Eric, why do you think this? Why do you think that this kind of work is really important for you and the community?
Because it all starts from home. So if we in the home, then we are reaching them before they hit the street, before they get the influence from the street and go another direction. Like Anthony was saying about this college degrees, right? We can reach them as soon as they hit the front porch. Before the corner hit them, then we are accomplishing a major goal, and it's like we're full circle. We can get you help. Like you don't have to go to 10 different places.
Right.
you go to one place.
Like a one-stop shop.
Like a one-stop
Yeah.
shop.
And that's what we have here at Change and Turn. We have psychiatrists on staff. We have therapists on staff. We have LMSWs. We have LCPCs. We have PRP counselors. Our PRP counselors who do great jobs, as I might say. And they're changing people's lives every day. I've seen some people, by me being here so long, where they weren't working, they weren't living in, some of the people even homeless.
Yeah.
I have one who lives on her own home right now. She's working right now. She has a job. Like, and these people come back. They'll see you even when they graduate from the program or leave the program. They'll see you in the street and be like, "Thank you."
Right.
And that's so endearing for somebody to just say thank you.
You know you're an angel, bro.
Right. Right. That's
Yeah.
true. I mean, because you never know, and most of these people just want somebody to know that somebody cares.
Yeah.
Somebody's listening. Most of these people are crying out for help,
Yeah.
but nobody's paying them any attention.
And then ain't nobody just saying like with y'all, people not co-journeying with people.
Right.
People not taking them by their hand and say, "Man, I love you, man. Let's go do this together."
Right.
I don't want to just say, "Look, here go a referral. Go see this person." It seems like you co-journeying with these folks. It seems like you walking them through the process, and that's what people need. Cause actually, man, mental health trauma, all that stuff, just need love.
Right.
That's it, and support. That's all it is, love and support, and not kind of letting people down. So I definitely thank y'all, man, for coming to talk about this stuff, man. Is anything else y'all want to talk about? Y'all want to add anything, any kind of like information y'all want to give out? Any kind of stuff y'all want to talk about that y'all doing? You can get up, you can explain a little bit about these resources you got, and you can just keep on, giving out information, man. Because what we want to do is we just want to have people knowing what Changing Turns is doing in the community. So
They can go to our Facebook page, Change and Turn, Community Outreach Service. They can give us a call at our outreach office, 443-893-3744. We are one of the largest resources in Baltimore City. If we can't do it ourselves, we can get it done for you.
Okay.
Right now we at Booker T. Washington Middle School. We run a mentoring group every Tuesdays there. Thank you to Miss Nakia Jones and Miss Scott, the assistant principal, and the principal of the school for allowing Change and Turn to be a part of that process. They can just give us a call. They could Facebook, Instagram, Change and Turn Community Healthcare Service.
Changing Turns. Changing Turns. Changing Turns.
We service Baltimore City and the surrounding counties up to Hartford County, Cecil County. Yeah, we're in the community.
Not only that, we also have a fully functional food pantry. We partner with the Maryland Food Bank. Not only that, we have partnerships with the Department of Juvenile Services. We have partnerships with the Dope Girls. We have a lot of great partnerships in the city, where we're trying to help people because some people don't know where to go.
Right.
So if you can find a resource, somebody that has the resources that you may need, we have referrals to everywhere. Whatever we don't have in-house, we can refer you to somebody else because we partner with everybody. Because the saying wasn't wrong when I was a child. It takes a village to raise a child.
Absolutely.
And that's what we have lost. Now it's don't say nothing to my child.
Right.
So when we get back into the swing of things where we're helping everybody else and we build these rapport with people, and what I always tell the counselors, when I'm doing an interview is, whatever you say you're going to do for these clients, make sure you do.
Absolutely.
They're so used to being disappointed. They're so used to being let down. Don't be another letdown for them because you might be that person and that might change their life around.
It might change their whole trajectory.
And not only that,
One lie.
when I tell people all the time, some people get upset. They be like, I want to help everybody. I said, don't look at it like that. You might reach that one person that might write a book or might be a great orator or might be a great speaker.
Yeah,
and if you
reach
reach that
masses.
person, and they will reach everybody who you were trying to reach.
Reach the masses.
So all you got to do is reach that one person,
Exactly.
and then you can help everybody through that.
Reach the masses.
So we
Thank
have our
Thank you for coming,
PRP, the
brother.
outpatient mental health clinic. We do offer TPS, which is the therapeutic-based services. We have individual skill with supportive employment, case management, DUI, DDA. We pretty much do it all here.
Yeah.
And with
I've heard that from all three of y'all. We do it all.
We do it all.
And
I love it, man. I love it.
We're fully cost accredited for all our programs.
Okay. That's what's up, man. So
Thank you. For
you
all
see
that
what
you
we
do.
and thank you. Thank y'all for coming on. I thank y'all for having me. And y'all actually like informally like my first guest. Y'all even beat Dope Girls and Maryland Justice Report to the podcast. So thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all. I'll see y'all on the next one. This is another session of changing Baltimore and trying to create a culture where we promote what's going on in Baltimore, programs that's helping people, helping kids on the street, and just helping folks in Baltimore, period. Today, I got two of my homies and two of my fellow, three of my homies. We got one back there on the camera. All right, Keisha, we're going to tell you back there. You know if it's two of them here, the other one was here too.
That's right.
But
The awesome foursome.
today, this ain't got nothing to do with Sage Streets or Edmondson. This is about Dope Girls.
Dope girl.
This is the Dope Girls session. And we got Nakia here, we got Mariam here, and they're going to tell us a little bit about Dope Girls. But before we go in that, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got here and why did you want to do Dope Girls?
Okay, my name is Nakia Curtis.
Girl, cut it out.
Right.
Nakia
Cut
Curtis.
that shit
I'm the founder and president of Dope Girls.
Yeah.
Developing
Good.
Optimistic Poised Educated Girls Foundation, Inc. That's what we are.
Okay.
We're 501c3. We started back in 2016, and I just had an experience with a couple of kids. I also do PRP with mental health, and not everybody qualifies. You have to have a diagnosis to, be in a mental health program for the state to pay for it.
Okay.
And these girls did not have a diagnosis, but when I met with them, they had no experiences either. They had no experiences.
Explain that to us. Explain a little bit more about the experiences.
No experiences to a restaurant. They had never eaten breakfast.
Oh.
They had never been to a movie theater.
Wow.
They never been to the harbor.
Wow.
So these are things that's right in the city. They were from the city, but they never experienced.
Wow.
And I went home and I couldn't sleep. I was just like, something has to change. Something has to happen. And growing up, people without experiences, they run into people bad or good that may have money that will give them experiences that will lead them down the wrong path.
And you know what's? It's funny that you say that, right, Nikki? Because I always talk about this when I'm talking to like policy makers and all that stuff. I say on these corners, right? You got all these people, all these drug dealers on the corner, but all the drug dealers ain't bad people.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? And some of them got morals. Some of them live by principle. So by you saying that, that's the actual culture that grow crime. Because on these streets, we got all these little dudes on the corner. They sitting on the stoops. They mothers get high. It really ain't no fault. We might be in jail, might be locked up. We might be getting high, whatever, right? But then you got drug dealers down on the corner. And they talking about what you talking about, experiences. Boy, we was just down Six Flags. We did this, we did that. And the little boys are 9 years old and they sitting there watching that shit, right? But these the same dudes when they come out and go to school, give me $1. They buy them Huggy Juices and honey buns. You dig what I'm saying? So they building a rapport with our kids, and our heroes to our kids just so happen to be criminals. Now, we're not saying all of them bad because we got some dudes in the street that teach morals, but they doing illegal behavior. So this is what we got to do. We got to build more awareness about that. I'm glad you said something about that.
So our program is a curriculum-based program. We're in 3 schools right now. We're in Furman, L. Templeton. We're in William Packer, and we're in Graceland Park, O'Donnell Heights.
Okay.
And like I said, we started back in 2006.
Okay. Yeah, that's what's up, man.
I mean, 2016, Lord Jesus.
2006.
Six, I
okay.
know, right? You said.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sitting there saying, all right, like, yeah, 2006, shit. I still was in the dope game. It wasn't even no safe streets yet. You know what I mean? I was on Fayette Street some goddamn way.
Right.
But it's all good though.
and
You know,
vape
God before me. I'm here, and
That's
we
right.
doing
Right.
dope girls
Never
and
too
safe
late to
streets.
get it
And,
right.
That's right.
yeah, so you know we here. So Marion, tell us what you do. How you help out in dope girls?
So my name
You
is
just be
Marianne, and they call me Pooh. I'm keeping it real.
Yeah.
So I'm from the projects, born and raised.
You know you from one of the most dangerous projects in
No,
America.
I'm not. They tore the dangerous one down, and that was Lafayette. Shut up.
But it's next to the other one.
Oh,
That's the most dangerous.
shut up. So anyway, I'm from Douglas Projects, and it was always kids' passion to stop dope girls, and it was my passion for her to help her to see this through.
Right.
And so that's why I became a part of Dope Girls, because Kid has some great ideas. And also we're doing the PRP part, and we're partnering with Change and Turn to get these girls the help that they need. And as a product of somebody that suffers with anxiety and disability, and me not knowing where I was going to end up at, and at the age of 46, I just found out my purpose in life, and that is to service others.
Yeah.
So I quit my job after 10 and a half years.
Wow.
So that I can go back to school full time,
That's
and I
that
can
drive.
get that master's degree in social work, so that we can get that building, and we can have these 24-hour wraparound services. And we want to have everything from dope girls to mental health to the Mental Justice Project, and we also want to have a safe haven shelter for anybody that needs some type of services. We want to have somewhere where they can come and they can get a hot meal, and they can get a warm bed, and they can get and they can take a bath and clean themselves up.
24 hours.
24-hour wraparound services.
And
That's
I
the
used
plan.
to I used to tell people that all the time. I said, man, the social workers need to like start working like 5 in the afternoon to 1 o'clock in the morning. Social workers don't need to go to work 8 o'clock in the morning because their constituency is not going to be there 8 o'clock in the morning. And when people are trying to like change themselves and they want to do something with themselves and they in the streets getting high, selling drugs, whatever, that change come about 2, 3 in the morning. 12 o'clock in the morning, dude got that gun to your head, just robbed you, but he let you go. You dig what I'm saying? Or somebody then sexually assaulted you or something like that. And that's what we need. We need 24-hour wraparound services. Because the one thing that killed me when I went back to college and I took up social work, I got a bachelor's degree in social work. So I looked at the Maslow hierarchy of needs. I was too through with government. Because I was saying, you telling me that if a person don't meet their basic needs, they're not even trying to move to the next level.
Right.
That's the whole streets.
Yeah.
That's every kid out there. And we got a problem because we don't know that most of these little kids they say, get out the corner, get out the corner. A lot of them homeless.
Yeah.
Their mothers don't have physical addresses and they aunt tired of their ass. Or they grandmother tired of their ass and they ain't keep letting them in the house. You dig what I'm saying? Because they 19, 20, 21 years old, 14, 15, they grown men. They can eat. They can mess up your house. They can get your house raided. They bringing friends there. So we got to figure out how do we get sustainable housing and all of that stuff for these kids. Food, washing up, all that stuff mean a whole lot. A lot of the kids, I was just telling somebody, they should develop a way where the kids at 6 o'clock every day in the whole city, kids can just show an ID and they can go anywhere in this city and get something to eat.
Yep.
At any store, any restaurant, anywhere, they can go in there and get something to eat. Because that'll do away with a whole bunch of this stuff. 6 o'clock at night.
The squeegee kids on the corner.
If you feed them 6 o'clock at night, half of them going to sleep. Because they ain't going to really get a big meal like that nowhere. You're going to be putting a lot of them to sleep.
Yeah. And people don't understand that. People don't realize that the 2 most important meals the kids are missing. They get lunch in school, and a lot of them, if they're able to, and if the after school programs are not at capacity, then they can get meals there. But a lot of kids miss out on that. You know, like I said, the girls that I had, they never experienced breakfast because they didn't have BG&E so they didn't have a clock and they didn't know what time it was to get up to go to school to make it to school for breakfast.
So they was just getting up all.
So they would
light
just get up,
outside.
yup, and it was light outside,
Maybe 10,
and
9,
you know, and they would miss breakfast, so they never experienced breakfast. So I took them to a local restaurant that served breakfast all day, and they didn't even know how to order off the menu.
And guess what? I encourage you to, with dope girls, track that information.
Yeah.
Like literally track. If you dealt with 20 little girls, how many of them didn't eat breakfast? How many of them did not change tampons? How to really properly clean themselves? Because that's what's needed. Like even them hubs you talking about, like little girls really don't know how to clean themselves.
they
You
don't.
can see them walking past, you can smell them. You
And
know what that
hygiene
stuff
is
smell
one
like.
of our courses. We do health and hygiene. We do fitness. Actually, last 2 weeks ago, we did a health and fitness. We taught them how to eat properly. We did Zumba. So we do a lot of different programs. Etiquette, how to use a knife and a fork, how
What
it's set
side to
up,
go on,
what
yeah.
side to go on, and how the table is set, proper servings. We do communication, how to speak, how to greet people. You know, so we do all of those kind of different things, which my passion would be to add this as a course into every school.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they taking gym and they taking reading, but are they taking life experiences classes?
Exactly.
So when
Life
I get
skills.
out, do I have experience?
Yeah.
When I go to a meeting, just because I got this job don't mean I ever sat at a table and I knew how to pick up a fork.
Exactly.
You know, because college is not teaching you that.
Exactly.
You know, school is not teaching you that.
Actualized intelligence.
So, you know, we want to teach these girls and give these girls experiences.
Yeah. I was telling somebody the other day, they was like, man, them little dudes don't have respect. They don't have manners. They don't have this. I'm saying, bro, it's not being taught.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? That's actualized intelligence.
know
That's
better,
an
you do
intelligence that
better.
has to be nurtured. So if I'm young, you dig what I'm saying? And my mother telling me to call people bees because she's 16 and I'm 3.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? What is that kid going to be? I tell you, one time I was down in projects. I witnessed a shooting, right? I don't know who the guys are, but I see like 7 little babies standing there. 2 of the little kids didn't run. And when I got there, I said, why you ain't run? And he knew who everybody was in that shooting. He knew who was getting shot, and all 3 of the people with the masks on. He was like 3 years old, about to be 4.
And this
Now-
is their everyday reality.
Now, no one I know nobody haven't talked to him
Right.
and processed that with him and told him that wasn't right, that the guy was about to get shot, that shootings are not normal. You dig what I'm saying? So when he get 13, then what? That's what we got walking around here. They being the blind lead the blind. You dig what I'm saying? So stuff like this, dope girls and safe streets and Maryland Justice Project, this is the stuff that we gotta do. We gotta go in our neighborhoods, and clean our neighborhoods. We want to clean it from the inside out.
If you would like to reach Developing Optimistic Poised Educated Girls, you can do so by going to our IG page, DGirls2017, that's girls with a Z, or our Facebook page, Developing Optimistic Poised Educated Girls, or you can reach us at our website, dopegirlsmentoring.org, where you can make donations. We have a mother and daughter tea coming up May the 5th at American Legion. Tickets will be out shortly. If you would like to make donations, we're accepting all donations. Also, we're raising money for our girls to have a wonderful experience at the Maryland Science Center sleepover. So if you would like to make a donation, we have a GoFundMe out there. So please help these girls experience this sleepover.
This is our last segment of the Tater Barksdale podcast for today. Here we have the Maryland Justice Project. And today we have Han, we have
Monica Cooper.
Monica, and we have Marion.
Marion.
We still here. We talking about programs that are promoting goodwill and health in our city here in Baltimore City. We got a lot of projects. We got a lot of programs that's in the city that's working to help to clean up our communities. And today, I want these guys to tell you about the Maryland Justice Project and what they have to offer and where they are and what they're doing with their work.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
Okay. Well, I will start. My name's Monica Cooper. I'm the executive director of the Maryland Justice Project. And I do apologize, audience, because I have a peppermint in my mouth.
You good.
Excuse
This
me,
one can.
but I did not have breakfast. We've been around since 2013, and the organization was founded on a premise that women and girls have been what associate of mine, Kim Haven, called an afterthought, particularly in corrections and particularly being a part of the narrative with the whole reentry process. That women are, when we looked at Maryland and we looked at the amount of persons who are incarcerated, women are the smallest of that bunch, and they actually receive less resources. So we decided that we need to concentrate on the efforts of women and girls and reentry, and just helping women and girls in general to have their voices heard, to make sure that people realize that we need to have these systems and these things in place for women and girls. So that's mainly our population that we deal with. We have lots of programming that we're coming up with. And before I continue, I want to make sure that you know who Han is. Han is here representing the Weisberg Foundation, which is a foundation that is helping. Yeah, give her a hand, guys. Thank you, guys. She's very shy, but give her a hand. But thanks to the Weisberg and the OSI Institute, Open Society Institute, we are able to do the work that we're doing. And we're able to build capacity, and we're able to take these programs that we have and be a more efficient and more organized operation. Because there are a lot of nonprofits in Baltimore. But in order to be a nonprofit that's effective, we all are passionate, believe me. I am very emotional about what I do. I will cry because I've walked that life. I've had my parents who were addicted to drugs. I've lived this life, and it has not been, and it hasn't been an easy road, and it's painful. It is painful to relive those experiences, and it is painful to see children. It is painful to see women. It's painful to see human beings in the human condition that we find ourselves in. So I tend to get emotional about it, because this is my passion. This is what I'm gonna do until God calls me home. That's right. But I ain't gonna get emotional.
Let me ask you a question, Monica. What do you think for reentry, right? When women come home from incarceration, what do you think is that number one resource?
The number one resource for women that's returning home is housing.
Bro, that's so crazy, because that's what I believe it is for men too.
Yeah.
I believe that because you know, inside the house you're gonna have all of the basic needs. You get a house, you may put some food in it, you're able to take a bath, you're able to wash yourself, get some sleep, feel secure.
Yeah. But I will say this, and I'm not a male basher, but one of the reasons why we choose women is because the majority of the women are primary caretakers. When that woman got incarcerated, she was the one taking care of the children.
Absolutely.
When she come home, her number one priority is I need to get my babies back. And in order for me to get my babies back, I have to prove to the Department of Social Services, I have to prove to parole and probation, and whomever else, even my mother, even my grandmother, that I've changed. I'm no longer going to use drugs. I'm no longer going to do these things. I made that mistake. So the number one priority is getting their babies. And that's one of the reasons why we have to continue to focus on women. It's because they can help stop and prevent this cycle. It is the woman who can keep her children in her home and out of penal systems. So we concentrate on women. And again, it's not a knock on men. We definitely want men to be housed and everything, but it is the women that I believe that can turn this whole thing around. We had an incident that happened at Montgomery Mall where we saw a mother in the midst of a riot during the Freddie Gray uprising. This mother loved her child enough to go to him and pop him upside his head and do what mothers do. Because she realized that as a mother, your father can give you a guidance and say, look, boy, this is what you do when you try to date a girl. This is how you be a man. this is how you chop this wood. He can show his male children that and be there for, but it is the mother and her maternal instinct that will come after her cub. The mother will do whatever she has to do to protect her cub, and that woman on that particular day demonstrated the importance of women in this city and in this state. So we definitely are fighting to save women and to actually invest in women, because I personally believe that it is the woman who will break this cycle of violence, that will break this cycle of incarceration. It's the woman that can do that.
So how you feel about intense like mental health services and like intense like trauma-informed care services like in prisons? Because like I don't believe that they got like really intense trauma-informed and like programs in prison. I really believe that we have to definitely reform like what they're doing in prisons.
Yes, sir.
Because it's like they said, they should always say
Yes, sir.
traditionally, oh, it's a warehousing system. It's even more than a warehousing system now. It's actually, from what I've seen, women prisons and men's prisons. You got people who go in there so stressed out, so traumatized, that they become substance abusers when they get to prison. And some of them are not substance abusers, but they get to prison, they might have just tried it in the street, smoking weed and doing whatever they're doing, but maybe tried some Molly or maybe tried an E-pill or some ecstasy. But I see guys like that go to prison, and from the guy's standpoint, and they start using harder drugs. Like, what do you think about that kind of stuff? Do you think we need more intense services in prison? And should people be like giving those services before they come home from jail? And should they be mandatory?
Well, it's funny you should say that, because I have a woman's pre-release pamphlet right here, and this is one of those pieces of legislation, and I don't even have the number in my head because we just got the bill number. But in Annapolis, Maryland, the bill hearing is February 21st. It's going to be at 12 noon. And we, along with ACLU, Out for Justice, Life After Release, and PG County, Kiana Johnson out there, we and our partners, we're going to be there because the Maryland Justice Project, for the past 5 years, we started the conversation in 2013. And the first thing that I thought is we'll never get this done because you need money. Because when you start talking about capital projects, when you start talking about putting more programming in prisons, the first thing that prison officials, lawmakers go and say, well, where are you going to get the money from? In Maryland, we have a budget, and the governor approves that budget. And that budget is going to say you can spend $2 here, $3 there, 50 cents here, and that budget cannot be changed. It has to be approved. In order for us to end our sessions with the gavel, you have to have a budget that is approved by everybody, and he gets the say-so on it. So in my mind, I thought, we'll never be able to get the money. So I said, all right, we'll come up with what we call a brick project. And for each dollar that a person gives, we're going to give you a brick, because you're helping to build this institution. Well, the brick project never came, that was because I'm always thinking about raising money. If we're going to sell dinners, if we're going to have, whatever it is, I'm thinking, because capital is what we need to not throw at this problem, but take the directly impacted. And we can show you. I stayed in that joint for more than a decade. I've had that lived experience. So I can tell you what the therapeutic community looks like behind the wall. I can tell you how successful those programs were and can be. But like I said, it takes money. So in my mind, in 2013, when we started talking about the Women's Pre-Release Center, because they shut it down. There's 0 pre-release units in Maryland for women, which don't even make sense. Off the top of my head, it's a Title IX issue. But I kept thinking about all kinds of ways. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I said, well, dang, can we go at them with Title IX? Meaning that whatever you provide for boys, you have to provide for girls.
Absolutely.
But that didn't seem like it was flying anywhere. But lo and behold, we have this legislation now that's being introduced by Senator Mary Washington in the 43rd District, and a new Senator Crutchfield in Annapolis. So the bill is going to be heard on the 21st. But getting back to what you said is that in the Maryland Correctional Institution for Women, in the past 6 months, there's been 3 suicides. Wow. 3 suicides. They just put in a Baltimore Sun that a 19-year-old who was on a shelf, that's what we call lockup. That's the term we call lockup. She was on lock. She was asking for mental health. banging on the door. I need to go to mental health. The officer obviously ignored her. She some kind of way got a lighter from somebody, set her mattress on fire. The whole cell in flames. She was injured, and several correctional officers injured. That is a crime. Yeah. Anytime a person is willing to set a mattress on fire in a cell that you are locked in and have no way out, that is a serious plea for help. Yeah. So do they need mental health in there? Yeah. Most definitely. And do the women? Yeah. And do the women need mental health? Yes. You cannot send women home without having a halfway house.
Listen.
Because you're not getting the services that you need in that period. So you definitely need them before you come home. The people you in there killing yourself, you know that if they in there doing it while they're there, as they exit, they in worse condition they was when they came.
Monica, I sympathize with you because I was serving 10 years in parole. I was in Patuxent, and I was responsible for feeding lockup. Yeah. And I was feeding the mental health team in Patuxent.
Okay, imagine.
The thing that you saying, right? The guy says to me, I'm feeding him. He said, you got any extra peaches? I said, oh, after I feed everybody, I'm gonna give you some peaches. He said, no, you gonna give me one of them other peaches. But he, you know, I ain't giving you no peaches. I came back the next day. In his cell, he had newspapers stacked. It was regular newspapers, like the dude on the corner. Like, I'll get all these newspapers for you. Right? So when I get back to the 10, the next day, all the newspapers unraveled. It's 6 feet high. And he's sitting on the back of the cell on top of the toilet. So now the shit about 5 or 6 feet, like he'd unraveled them, whereas though they gonna all stack up high. And he's sitting on top of the toilet. So he say to me, he know that the police leaves off the TID and go stand out there on his post. So I say to him, he said, you gonna give me some peaches today? I said, oh, if there's some extra peaches, I'm gonna give you the peaches, right? So he said, no, you gonna give me them peaches, or I'm gonna set this cell on fire. I said, well, you can set the cell on fire. You know, I'm young at the time, I'm only like 23 years. I said, well, you set the cell on fire, you ain't do nothing to set the cell on fire. He said, no. He said, you know, the police ain't gonna open that gate while no fire, unless they call the code. The rest of them, he said, yo, you gonna die from smoke inhalation. You gonna die in here with me. That's what he telling me, right? So I said, all right, I'm gonna give you some pieces. So we go back and forth. He don't wind up liking the match, but I give him like the extra bread that was on there, some more juice. I'm giving it to him, right?
Hey, Fox, what you want, an apple? I got some chips too.
But that ain't the kicker of the story.
Oh, man.
I came back the next day and said to the officer, where Mr. Mike at? They said, Mr. Mike mandatoried out. He went home this morning before I went up there and fed lunch. Mr. Mike ain't getting no mental health services. Mr. Mike was just about to blow me and him up with the newspaper. But that's who they sent out in the street.
With no help. Wow.
Exactly.
So this re-entry thing, all of this stuff is major because I really believe that when kids go to jail, they get traumatized. It's not normal to be in jail. Like when I was in jail, the first time I got to jail, if I wasn't like Tater Barksdale or a follower, the first time I got in city jail, I'm on lockup. Don't nobody know I'm right there. I got in a fight, so they sent me on lockup. Don't nobody know I'm on lockup. But the police come on the TID because somebody has set a fire. Now, we don't got nothing on lockup. You been on lockup, you ain't got nothing down there. You got your toothpaste, maybe a book or two, sheets, mattress. You don't got nothing. So they tell us they about to come strip us. So I'm like, what they gonna strip us up? We ain't got nothing. They say, they gonna come get your toothpaste, your soap, everything. Wow. Right? So everybody said, we bucking. We fucking how? To get you the first cell, it's the goon squad. It's stay 6'3", feet 13s and stuff like that. So your job was when the police come to the cell, you gotta go hard.
And block.
You gotta pop the first police come to the cell, and you gotta fight them. And if you don't, you a lame and you subject to some kind of violence on the tip. So it get all the way to my cell. I'm sitting there debating. I'm looking. I got a Bible, some toothpaste, some soap. Like I don't got nothing. I got like my T-shirts. It's hot. We don't have nothing in there. I don't fight. Right? Somebody yell, "Oh, there ain't going no fighting. You can't hear the rumbling of that sound." Right? I still don't say nothing. Somehow the next day, a dude come to my cell and he looked at me and he left. So when they yell, they say, "Yo, who over there in that cell?" So somebody on the Tater found out like, "Oh, that's Tater." What Tater? They say, "He's from Longville Project," he said. So I heard another dude yell over, it's Tweety Bird. "Is that Tater? That's Shane and Bubba and the people?" Yeah, they like, "Yo, that's off limits." But the fact of the matter is, you got all these dudes collaborating about what they gonna do to me because I didn't buck. The rest of the tier bucked. I couldn't even believe it. Like they just popped the police. And the next morning, when we went to showers, the two dudes next to me had black eyes, big lips. I'm saying to myself, like, bro, what was bucking for? But this is trauma. People going to jail to go traumatize.
Okay, that situation is indicative of what incarceration looks like. When you have to have individual human beings contemplating on whether or not I'm going to punch a correctional officer in the face, which is clearly against the rules, clearly wrong, and that type of mentality is one of the reasons why folks, women, men, are not able to get successfully rehabilitated. You should not have to contemplate on fighting an officer just to make sure that they don't take what little bit you have. The correctional system itself, particularly in Maryland, definitely needs to be revamped, because you had asked a question about programming and the services, and eventually the Maryland Justice Project will address our lawmakers and on behalf of all people in the penal system. It is our tax-paying dollars that should insist that you bring and send back healthy human beings, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. You can't allow people to go in there broken. Men and women who come from socioeconomic situations where they already don't have nothing. How can you take somebody from a situation where their mother used drugs, the father used drugs, the one person they do look up to is a counselor, a therapist, a PRP person, that one person, and how do you take them and allow them to go into a system where they already are messed up because of their upbringing or because of their socioeconomic situation, because of where you live. So
because of systemic racism and structural racism.
Definitely.
So we would be on the individual.
I agree.
Systems and institutions
that are
they
in
did.
place.
And it's okay because that's what it is. When you talk about women, men, in a penal system, we have yet as a society to get to the core of why we have growing institutions anyway. Why are we not being abolitionists and saying let's shut these prisons down? And we shut them down by doing what Horn said, by recognizing that it's systemic racism that causes our federal government, our state government, and our local government to put these things in place that continually impede the progress of other human beings. It is the 13th, and Michelle Alexander said it is convict leasing, and it continues to take another form in another way. It's like back in the 1800s, if you were a vagrant, you did not have a home, you were considered homeless, they sent you to prison and you went back to work on the potato fields, you went back to work in the cotton fields. And it's almost like today, like Karen York over at JOTF, they had done a report. Job Opportunities Task Force had done a report, and the report says penalizing the poor. The poor continuously get punished. You are punished for being poor.
Can I know I'm behind the camera, but I wanted to say this because I'm listening to everybody. You see what's happening though. You're closing down schools, but then you're building juvenile jails on Greenmount Street. So you have enough money, the state, to build a jail to house juveniles, but we can't even get an AC unit at my daughter's school at Poly. So that they don't have to leave a half a day. You know what I'm saying? So you see what's being done. The money is going into housing criminals versus educating students. So at the end of the day,
because you
it's
gotta
just
understand
crazy.
the prison system, it gets cheap goods and cheap labor.
Yeah, cheap labor.
You know, people don't realize, like right here in the state of Maryland, when we had to cut, they was doing license tags, they had meat cutting shops, all that
They
kind of
package
stuff. They got
Victoria's
brackets and all
Secrets
that.
good. You know, people don't know
so
the Victoria's Secrets.
They make
package
furniture
it.
and desks and all that kind of stuff. So it's a really big market. You know what I'm saying? And we just gotta like
They're
think about it.
armed, but I imagine because you have a lot of organizations throughout this country, a lot of nonprofit organizations. One of the things that I like to tap into, and I like to tell people who are fiscally responsible for other people is to allow those organizations to build true leadership.
Yep.
If you really want to help a person, you don't need, because one of the problems we have with huge nonprofits is that most of them have not had that experience, and they are top heavy, making $100,000, $150,000 to tell individuals like me that we feel like this is what you do. So now they've even turned the nonprofit into a corporate type of thing.
Yeah.
So even a nonprofit does not have the same appeal and effect that it does. So to the listening audience, please allow nonprofits to be the leaders. Trust that a formerly incarcerated woman can lead an organization and can force change.
Absolutely.
Fannie Lou Hamer did it, and a whole bunch of other folks did it. Fannie Lou Hamer changed the way that we vote in this country. She, in 1965, they passed the Voting Rights Act, and it was because of people like Fannie Lou Hamer. Because of this systemic racism that we see, we don't want nonprofits to be a part of that. And to continue to allow gentrification of communities. They take over these big, beautiful buildings, and they put their nonprofits in there, and they're not actually allowing people the opportunity to lead. And that's one of the dynamics in this nonprofit work has to shift a little bit.
And I always say that. I was just telling Murray in our last session on the podcast, I was like, any nonprofit organization working in any community, you need to have a couple of your employees from that community.
That's right.
How you
They
gonna
need
come
to look
serve
like
us
you. They need to
and
talk
you don't
like
have nobody look like me? You
Not
don't
just
have,
even in, but like in leadership.
yeah, in leadership,
on the
yeah.
board,
Yes,
you know?
to
Yeah,
inform
exactly.
decisions, because the person in the neighborhood, the people in the neighborhood know what they need. You can't come in and tell me what I need. I know what I need, and that's all from my story. So I thank y'all for coming.
Yeah. Before we go, I do want to give one more shout out to the Weisberg Foundation, and really, yeah, definitely give it one more shout out.
Tune in next week to the Tater Barksdale podcast. This was episode 1. Changing Baltimore.